The first thing Jake Morrison felt was cold. Not the bitter cold of winter back on Earth, but something deeper. Something that reached into his bones and made them ache. His eyes opened slowly, and bright white light made him squint. The world around him looked fuzzy and strange. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy and weak. His muscles did not want to work right. Jake blinked several times until his vision became clear. Above him, he could see a curved ceiling with lights that hurt his eyes. Where was he? The last thing Jake remembered was saying goodbye to his sister back on Earth. He had signed up for the long sleep program. They called it Cryo sleep. The scientist said he would sleep for 50 years while traveling to a new planet. But something felt wrong. This did not look like the colony ship he remembered. A soft hissing sound came from somewhere near his head. The glass cover of his pod began to open. Cool air touched his face and made him shiver. Jake tried to sit up, but his arms shook with the effort. Everything felt so heavy. Easy there, human. Do not try to move too quickly. The voice was strange. It sounded like music mixed with the sound of breaking glass. Jake turned his head and saw something that made his heart race with fear. A tall figure stood next to his pod. It looked like a person, but it was made of blue crystal that seemed to glow from inside. The being had 4 arms and a face that was both beautiful and terrifying. Its eyes were like diamonds that caught the light. "What are you?" Jake asked. His voice came out as a whisper. His throat felt dry and rough. "I am Dr. Zathera of the Veltar Collective. I am a doctor, and I have been taking care of you during your long sleep." The crystal being moved closer to Jake's pod. "You have been asleep for a very long time, Jake Morrison. It's much longer than you planned." Jake's mind raced. How long? Where? Am I? What happened to the colony ship? "You are on Station Omega-7. It orbits the gas giant in the system humans call Kepler. As for how long you have been asleep, ... double." The crystal doctor paused. "It has been 200 years, Jake Morrison." The words hit Jake like a punch to the stomach. 200 years, everyone he knew was dead. His sister, his friends, his old life on Earth, all gone. He felt tears start to form in his eyes. "It cannot be right," Jake said. The mission was only supposed to be 50 years. What went wrong? Dr. Zathera helped Jake sit up in his pod. The human was surprised at how gentle the crystal being's touch was. "Many things went wrong with the human colony missions. Your ship had technical problems. Cryo system kept you alive, but it could not wake you up safely. You were brought here when we found your ship drifting in space." Jake looked around the room. It was large and clean, with strange machines everywhere. Through a window, he could see stars and the swirling colors of a gas giant. But none of it looked like human technology. "Where are the other humans?" Jake asked. "There are humans in this system. But Jake Morrison, I must tell you something important. Humans are not what they once were. In the galaxy today, humans are known as one of the weakest species." Jake stared at the crystal doctor. "Weakest? What do you mean?" Dr. Zathera walked to a wall screen and touched it. Images appeared showing different alien species. Some looked like giant insects. Others looked like walking trees or living rocks. All of them looked strong and dangerous. When humans spread to the stars, they found they could not compete with other species. Human bodies are small and fragile compared to most galactic races. Human strength is limited. Most humans now work in offices or as technicians. They cannot do the physical jobs that stronger species can do. The crystal doctor showed Jake more images. These showed humans working at computers or fixing machines, while bigger aliens did the heavy lifting. The humans in the pictures looked tired and defeated. "What happened to Earth?" Jake asked, though he was afraid to hear the answer. "Earth died 150 years ago. The environment collapsed. The last humans left the planet before it became impossible to live there. They scattered across many worlds, trying to find places where they could survive." Jake felt his world collapse around him. Darth was gone. Humanity was weak and scattered. Everything he had known was lost. He put his head in his hands and tried not to cry. "I am sorry, Jake Morrison. I know this is hard to hear, but you are lucky to be alive. Most humans who try to sleep in cryopods for more than 50 years die. Their bodies cannot handle the long sleep. You are the first human I have seen who survived 200 years in cryosleep. Jake looked up at Dr. Zathera. Why did I survive when others did not? I do not know. Your body shows signs of change. Your cells are different from normal humans. The long sleep seems to have changed you in ways I do not understand. Jake tried to stand up from his pod. His legs felt strange, but they were stronger than he expected. Now, he had thought he would be weak after such a long sleep, but he felt okay. More than okay, actually. He felt good. How different am I? I will need to run more tests to be sure. Your muscle tissue has changed. Your nervous system shows unusual activity. The long cryosleep may have activated parts of your genetic code that are normally dormant. Jake walked to the window and looked out at the stars. The gas giant below was beautiful, with swirling clouds of orange and red. But it was not Earth. It would never be Earth. What do I do now? Jake asked. Where do I go? There is a human colony on the 4th planet in this system. It is called New Haven Colony. The humans there might be able to help you find your place. In this new world, Jake nodded slowly. He had no choice but to move forward. The past was gone, and he could not bring it back. But something felt different about his body. When he had tried to stand up, it had been easier than expected. When he walked to the window, his muscles had not felt tired at all. Dr. Zathera, you said my body changed during the long sleep. Do you think these changes might make me stronger than normal humans? It is possible. Your scans show remarkable physical improvements. But Jake Morrison, you must be careful. In this galaxy, being different can be dangerous. Many species fear what they do not understand. Jake picked up a water cup from a nearby table. As he lifted it to drink, the cup cracked in his hand. Had not squeezed it hard, but the metal bent like it was made of paper. Both Jake and Dr. Zathera stared at the broken cup. That cup is made of duralloy, Dr. Zathera said quietly. It is designed to be used by species much stronger than humans. You just crushed it without trying. Jake looked at his hand, then at the broken cup. Maybe he was different. Maybe the long sleep had changed him in ways that could help humanity. For the first time since waking up, Jake felt a spark of hope. I think I need to go to New Haven Colony, Jake said. I need to find out what I have become. Dr. Zathera nodded. I will prepare a transport for you. But Jake Morrison, remember what I said. Be careful who you trust with your secret. This galaxy can be dangerous for those who are different. Looked out at the stars one more time. Somewhere out there, humanity was struggling to survive in a galaxy that saw them as weak. But maybe, just maybe, things were about to change. The transport ship that took Jake to New Haven Colony was small and cramped. The pilot was a short alien with green skin and too many eyes. He did not talk much during the 3-day journey, which was fine with Jake. He needed time to think about everything that had happened. When they finally arrived at New Haven Colony, Jake was surprised by what he saw. The settlement looked small and poor compared to the grand cities he remembered from Earth. The buildings were made of simple metal and concrete. Most of them looked old and needed repair. People walked around wearing plain clothes that had been patched many times. The transport pilot pointed to a large building in the center of the colony. That is where you will find Administrator Lisa Carter. She runs this place. Good luck, human. Jake thanked the pilot and walked through the colony. Streets. The humans he passed looked tired and worn down. Many of them stared at him with curiosity. It had been a long time since anyone new had come to New Haven Colony. The Administrator building was bigger than the others, but it was still plain and simple. Jake walked inside and found a woman in her 40s sitting behind a metal desk. She had brown hair with gray streaks and kind eyes that looked very tired. You must be Jake Morrison, she said, standing up to shake his hand. I am Lisa Carter. Dr. Zathera sent word that you were coming. Please, sit down. Jake sat in a chair across from her desk. The chair was made for humans, which felt good after spending days around alien furniture that did not fit his body. No, this must be very hard for you, Lisa said. Waking up to find that everything has changed. I cannot imagine what you are going through. Dr. Zathera told me about Earth, about how humans are seen as weak now. Is it really that bad, Lisa? looked sad. I am afraid it is. When our ancestors first reached the stars, they thought humans would be explorers and leaders. But we found out that almost every other species is stronger, faster, or smarter than us. We have to work twice as hard to get half the respect. Stood up and walked to a window that looked out over the colony. See those big aliens working on the mining equipment? Those are that Canary workers. One of them can do the work of 10 humans. The reptile creatures loading cargo are Creks. They never get tired and can lift things that would break a human's back. Jake joined her at the window. He watched the aliens working while humans stood around with computer tablets, giving directions. But not doing the heavy work? What kind of work do humans do here? Jake asked. We manage the mining operation. We are good with computers and planning. The alien species need us to organize things, but they do all the physical work. In return, they let us live here and take a small part of the profits. Lisa turned away from the window. But Jake, we have a serious problem right now. The Creks Dominion has demanded tribute from us. They want rare minerals from our mining operation, and they want a lot of them. What happens if you refuse? They will force us to move to a desert world called Zarian 3. It is a terrible place where nothing grows. Many humans would die there. Lisa sat back down at her desk. We have no choice but to give them what they want. We are too weak to fight. Back, Jake felt anger growing inside him. These Creks were bullying humans because they thought humans could not defend themselves. It reminded him of bullies from his childhood on Earth. When are they coming for the tribute? Jake asked. Tomorrow. A group of Creks enforcers will arrive to collect what they demanded. We have most of it ready, but it will leave us with almost nothing for ourselves. That night, Jake stayed in a small apartment that Lisa had found for him. He could not sleep. He kept thinking about what Dr. Zathera had said about his body being different. The broken cup had been just the beginning. During his walkthrough, the colony, he had noticed that he was not getting tired, even though he had been walking for hours. His muscles felt strong and ready for action. Jake decided to test himself. Went to the small gym in his apartment building. The weights there were designed for humans, so they were much lighter than what the alien species used. Jake started with what should have been a heavy weight for him. He lifted it icily. He added more weight. Still easy. Kept adding weight. Until he was lifting more than should have been possible for any human. The next morning, Jake was eating breakfast when he heard shouting outside. He looked out his window and saw 3 large reptile creatures walking through the colony. These had to be the Creks enforcers. They were 7 feet tall with green scales and large claws. They walked like they owned the place. Jake finished his breakfast and went outside. A crowd of humans had gathered around the Creks enforcers. Lisa Carter was talking to the largest Creks, who wore armor and carried a big weapon. We have most of what you demanded, Lisa was saying. But please, leave us enough to survive. The large Creks laughed. It was a harsh sound that made Jake's skin crawl. You will give us everything we asked for, or you will leave this world. Humans are weak. You should be grateful we let you stay here at all. One of the other Creks enforcers saw a group of human children watching from nearby. Over to them with a mean look in its yellow eyes. Human children are so small and weak, the Creks said loudly. Wonder how easy it would be to break one. The Creks reached out with one clawed hand toward a little girl who could not have been more than 6 years old. The child started to cry and tried to run, but she tripped and fell. Something snapped inside Jake. Before he even thought about what he was doing, he was moving. He ran forward and put himself between the Creks enforcer and the little girl. Her alone, Jake said. The Creks looked down at Jake and laughed. Another weak human wants to play hero. This will be fun. The Creks raised its weapon, which looked like a heavy club made of metal and bone. It swung the weapon down toward Jake's head with enough force to crush a human skull. Jake raised his arm to block the blow. The weapon hit his arm with a loud crack. But the crack did not come from Jake's bones. The Crek's weapon had broken against his arm. Jake felt the impact, but it was like being hit with a foam bat. The Creks stared at its broken weapon in shock. The other 2 enforcers, and all the humans watching, stood frozen with surprise. "How is this possible?" the Krex enforcer said. Jake was wondering the same thing, but he did not have time to think about it. The Krex dropped its broken weapon and reached for Jake with both clawed hands, trying to grab him around the throat. Jake caught the Krex's wrists in his hands. The alien was strong, much stronger than any human should be able to handle. But Jake found that he could hold the creature's arms without any trouble. In fact, the Krex seemed to be struggling against Jake's grip. "Let me go, human," the Krex demanded. Instead, Jake lifted the 7-foot-tall alien off the ground. The Krex weighed at least 300 pounds, but Jake held it up like it was a child. Then, without really trying hard, Jake threw the Krex enforcer across the colony square. The alien landed 20 feet away in a pile of metal scraps. The other two Krex enforcers looked at their companion, then at Jake, then at each other. Without saying a word, they helped their friend get up, and all three of them ran toward their transport ship. The humans in the square stood in complete silence. They stared at Jake like he was some kind of miracle. The little girl he had protected ran to her mother, who picked her up and held her tight. Lisa Carter walked over to Jake. Her face was pale with shock. "Jake, what just happened? How did you do that?" "I do not know," Jake said honestly, "but I think Dr. Zathera was right. The long cryosleep changed me somehow." A woman with short black hair pushed through the crowd. She was carrying a medical scanner in her hands. "I am Dr. Amy Rodriguez, the colony medic. Jake, I need to run some tests on you right away." "What you just did should have been impossible for any human." Jake nodded. He was curious about the changes in his body, too. As Dr. Rodriguez led him toward the medical building, he could hear the colonists talking excitedly behind him. "Did you see that? He threw a Krex enforcer like it was nothing." "Maybe humans are not as weak as we thought." Jake smiled to himself. Maybe they were right. Maybe humanity's time as the weakest species in the galaxy was about to end. Dr. Amy Rodriguez led Jake to the medical building at the edge of New Haven Colony. The building was small and old, but it had the most advanced equipment the colonists could afford. Jake lay on an examination table while Dr. Rodriguez ran her scanners over his body. "This is incredible," she said, looking at the readings on her screen. "Jake, your bone density is 3 times higher than a normal human. Your muscle fibers have completely changed structure. They're more like cables than normal muscle tissue." Jake watched the numbers on the screen. He did not understand most of them, but he could see that they were very different from what Dr. Rodriguez called normal human readings. "What about my nervous system?" Jake asked. Dr. Zathera said it showed unusual activity. Dr. Rodriguez moved her scanner to Jake's head and neck. "Your reaction time is 4 times faster than normal humans. Your brain is processing information much quicker. The long cryosleep did not just change your muscles and bones. It changed everything." "Am I still human?" Jake asked. The question had been bothering him since he threw the Krex enforcer. "You are still human, but you are something more. Think of it like this. Normal humans were never meant to live in space for long periods. Cryosleep may have activated parts of your genetic code that were waiting for the right conditions to wake up." Dr. Rodriguez finished her scans and helped Jake sit up. "Ain't. You need to be very careful about who you tell about this. There are people who would want to use your abilities, and others who would fear them." "What do you mean?" Before Dr. Rodriguez could answer, the door to the medical building opened. A man in dark clothes walked in, who was tall and thin with gray hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. "Dr. Rodriguez, I need to speak with Jake Morrison immediately," the man said. "Who are you?" Jake asked. "My name is Captain Ryan Blake. I run a small organization that works to protect human interests in this system. I heard about what happened with the Krex enforcers today." Dr. Rodriguez looked nervous. "Captain Blake, I am not sure Jake is ready for this conversation. Ready or not, he needs to hear what I have to say." Ryan Blake sat down in a chair across from Jake. "Jake, do you know why humans are really considered weak in this galaxy?" "Because we are smaller and not as strong as other species," Jake said. "That is what they want us to believe. But the truth is more complicated. Yes, normal humans are physically weaker than most alien species, But humans have something most aliens do not have. We adapt. We learn. We survive in conditions that would kill other species. Ryan Blake leaned forward. The problem is that the major galactic powers, like the Krex Dominion and the Vekanari Empire, do not want humans to realize how valuable we really are. They keep us in jobs where we cannot use our full potential. They make us believe we are weak, so we will not challenge their control. What does this have to do with me? Jake asked. Everything. You are proof that humans can become much more than what the galaxy thinks we are. But you are not the only one. Ryan Blake touched a device on his wrist. A holographic image appeared in the air above it. The image showed a star map with dozens of red dots scattered across it. Each of these red dots represents a human colony with long-term cryosleepers. Most of them are still asleep because the colonial governments think it is too dangerous to wake them up. But some have been awakened, and they show abilities similar to yours. Jake stared at the star map. How many? We think there are at least 50 enhanced humans scattered across the galaxy. Maybe more. Most of them do not know about each other. The colonial governments and the alien species have been keeping this information secret. Why would they keep it secret? Because they are afraid? An enhanced human like you could change the balance of power in the galaxy? If all 50 enhanced humans worked together, they could protect human colonies from alien oppression. Dr. Rodriguez spoke up. Captain Blake, you are talking about starting a war? I am talking about ending one. The war that has been going on for 150 years. The war where humans are slowly being pushed to the edges of the galaxy. While alien species take the best worlds and resources, Ryan Blake stood up and walked to the window. Jake, I have been fighting this war for 20 years. I have seen human colonies forced to give up their homes. I've seen human children go hungry because aliens took their food supplies. I have seen enough. What exactly do you want me to do? Jake asked. I want you to join us, or to help us wake up. The other enhanced humans, help us show the galaxy that humanity is not weak anymore. Jake thought about the little girl he had protected from the Krex enforcer. He thought about how tired and defeated the colonists looked. He thought about Earth, dead and empty. Tell me more about your organization. Ryan Blake smiled for the first time since he had entered the room. We call ourselves the Human Resistance. We have small groups on 12 different worlds. Most of our members are normal humans, but we have 3 enhanced humans who are awakened. From shorter cryosleeps, none of them are as strong as you, but they have abilities that normal humans do not. Where are you based? We have a hidden base in the asteroid belt between this planet and its moon. It is an old mining station that was abandoned years ago. We fixed it up and made it our headquarters. Dr. Rodriguez looked worried. Jake, if you go with Captain Blake, there is no going back. Colonial government will not protect you if the alien species decide you are a threat. Jake looked at both of them. Dr. Rodriguez was right. If he joined the resistance, he would be giving up any chance of a normal life. But what kind of normal life could he have? He was not a normal human anymore. He was something new, something that could make a difference. Captain Blake, I have one question. Are you planning to hurt innocent aliens? I do not want to be part of something that kills people who do not deserve it. Our goal is to protect humans and gain equal treatment in the galaxy. We will defend ourselves when attacked, but we are not murderers. We want to show other species that humans deserve respect, not fear. Jake made his decision. I will come with you. But I want to bring Dr. Rodriguez. If we are going to wake up other enhanced humans, we will need someone who understands what happened to us. Dr. Rodriguez shook her head. Jake, I cannot leave the colony. These people need me. Dr. Rodriguez, these people need you to help create a future where they do not have to live in fear. Lisa Carter can find another doctor for the colony. But the resistance needs someone who can safely wake up the other sleepers. Captain Blake nodded. Dr. Rodriguez, you would be very valuable to our cause. We have been trying to wake up other enhanced humans for years, but we have not had a qualified doctor to help us. Dr. Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. She sighed. If I do this, I want to bring my medical equipment and my research on Jake's condition. Done, Captain Blake said. 2 days later, Jake found himself on a small transport ship flying through the asteroid belt. Dr. Rodriguez sat next to him, looking nervous about leaving the colony. Through the ship's window, Jake could see the hidden base growing larger as they approached. The base was built inside a large asteroid. It looked like a metal city carved into rock. Lights glowed from windows and docking bays. Jake could see ships coming and going, carrying supplies and people. "Welcome to Freedom Station," Captain Blake said. "This is where we plan the future of humanity." As their ship docked, Jake saw other humans waiting for them. Some looked like normal colonists, but others moved with the kind of confidence that came from knowing you were stronger than you looked. A woman with short brown hair and muscular arms stepped forward. "You must be Jake Morrison." "I am Maria Santos, Captain Blake's second in command. I have been looking forward to meeting you." "Are you enhanced too?" Jake asked. "I spent 2 years in cryosleep during a colony ship malfunction. It was not as long as your sleep, but it changed me. I am stronger and faster than normal humans, though not as much as you." Maria Santos led Jake and Dr. Rodriguez through the base. They passed rooms full of computers and communication equipment. They saw workshops where people were building weapons and tools. They walked through living areas where families had made homes in the asteroid. "How many people live here?" Jake asked. "About 300. Most are normal humans who believe in our cause. 20 are enhanced humans with various levels of abilities. Arce. And now we have you, the most enhanced human we have ever found." Reached a large room with a table in the center. On the table was a holographic display showing the local star system. Red dots marked Krek's military bases. Blue dots showed human colonies. Green dots marked the locations of sleeping enhanced humans. "This is our command center," Captain Blake said. "This is where we plan our operations." "What kind of operations?" Jake asked. Maria Santos touched the holographic display. One of the red dots grew larger, showing a detailed view of a Krek supply depot. "We have been planning to raid this facility for months. It contains advanced weapons and communication equipment that we need to contact enhanced humans and other star systems. The problem is that normal humans cannot get past the depot's defenses," Captain Blake said. "The Kreks use energy shields and security systems designed to stop conventional attacks, but they have never had to deal with someone like you." The night before the mission, Jake could not sleep. He lay in his small room at Freedom Station, staring at the metal ceiling and thinking about what they were about to do. Tomorrow, he would try to break into a heavily defended Krek's military facility. If he failed, the Resistance would lose their best chance to contact other enhanced humans across the galaxy. At dawn, Captain Blake called the mission team together. Besides Jake, the team included Maria Santos and 4 other Resistance members. They gathered around the holographic display in the command center to go over the plan one final time. "The supply depot is on the 3rd moon of the gas giant, Captain," Blake explained. "It has 3 main buildings surrounded by an energy barrier. Jake will approach from the north side where the barrier is weakest." Jake studied the layout. "What about the guard towers?" "There are 6 towers with automated weapons. They are programmed to shoot at anything that moves near the barrier. But the weapons use energy beams that should not hurt you the same way. They would hurt normal humans." Maria Santos pointed to the largest building. Communication equipment is stored in the central building. Once Jake gets past the barrier, he needs to disable the security system from the inside.
"And we can
Land our ship and help him carry out the equipment." "What if there are Krek soldiers inside the buildings?" Jake asked. "Intelligence reports say the depot is mostly automated. There should only be a few guards, maybe 10 at most." "Can you handle that many?" Jake thought about the Krek's enforcer he had thrown across the colony square. "I think so." 2 hours later, Jake was sitting in a small stealth ship, flying toward the 3rd moon. The ship was designed to avoid detection by Krek's sensors, but it could not get too close to the depot without being discovered. Jake would have to cover the last 5 miles on foot. The ship landed in a crater about 5 miles from the supply depot. Jake stepped out onto the moon's surface wearing a basic spacesuit. The Resistance had modified it to fit his enhanced body, but it still felt strange and bulky. "Communication check," Maria Santos said through his helmet radio. "I can hear you clearly," Jake replied. "Remember, you have 2 hours of air in that suit? If you are not back by then, we will have to leave without you." Jake started walking across the moon's rocky surface toward the depot. Gravity was low, which made each step feel like he was bouncing. After walking for an hour, he could see the depot's lights ahead of him. The supply depot looked exactly like the holographic display had shown. 3 large buildings sat inside a glowing energy barrier. Guard towers rose from each corner of the complex, their weapons slowly sweeping back and forth as they searched for intruders. Jake approached the energy barrier from the north side. The barrier looked like a wall of blue lightning that reached from the ground up into space. Warning signs in several alien languages told him that touching the barrier would mean instant death. Jake reached out and touched the energy barrier with one gloved finger. He felt a strong tingling sensation, but no pain. The energy that would have killed a normal human felt like a mild electric shock to him. Jake took a deep breath and stepped through the barrier. Alarms immediately started ringing throughout the depot. Bright red lights began flashing on all the guard towers. The automated weapons turned toward Jake and started firing energy beams at him. The first beam hit Jake in the chest and knocked him backward. It felt like being punched by a strong person, but it did not hurt him badly. More beams hit him as he ran toward the nearest building. Each impact felt uncomfortable, but none of them stopped him. Jake reached the central building and found the main door. It was made of heavy metal and had an electronic lock. Jake grabbed the door with both hands and pulled. The metal bent and twisted until the door came off its hinges. Inside the building, Jake found himself in a long hallway lined with storage rooms. Emergency lights flashed red, and a computerized voice spoke in the Krex language. Jake could not understand the words, but he knew it was probably warning about an intruder. Jake ran down the hallway, checking each room for the communication equipment. Most of the rooms contained weapons, ammunition, and other military supplies. Finally, near the end of the hallway, he found what he was looking for. The communication room was filled with advanced alien technology. Screens showed star maps and communication channels. Banks of computer equipment hummed with power. This was exactly what the Resistance needed to contact enhanced humans and other star systems. Jake found the security control panel and started pressing buttons. He did not know how to read Krex writing, but he could see which systems were active. After a few minutes of experimenting, he managed to shut down the guard towers and the energy barrier. "Maria, this is Jake. I have disabled the security systems. You can land now." "Great work, Jake. We are on our way." Jake started disconnecting the portable communication equipment that the Resistance could use. As he worked, he heard footsteps. In the hallway, several Krex soldiers were coming to investigate the security alert. The first Krex soldier appeared in the doorway holding a large energy weapon. When he saw Jake, he raised his weapon and fired. The energy beam hit Jake in the shoulder and spun him around but did not knock him down. "Impossible," the Krex soldier shouted. "No one can survive a direct hit from a plasma rifle." Jake turned to face the soldier. "I am not just anyone." The Krex soldier fired again, but Jake was ready this time. He dodged to the side and rushed forward. Before the soldier could fire a third shot, Jake grabbed the plasma rifle and crushed it in his hands like it was made of paper. The Krex soldier tried to run, but Jake caught him easily. Jake did not want to hurt the soldier badly, so he just knocked him unconscious with a gentle tap to the head. More Krex soldiers appeared in the hallway. Jake counted 8 of them, all carrying weapons. They spread out and started firing at him from different directions. Jake moved faster than the soldiers expected. He ran from one to another, disabling their weapons and knocking them unconscious. Within 5 minutes, all 8 soldiers were lying on the floor, alive but unable to fight. "Jake, we are landing now," Maria Santos said through his radio. "Good. I have the equipment ready and I dealt with the guards." 20 minutes later, Jake and the Resistance team were loading the stolen communication equipment onto their ship. They had taken everything they needed and more. Along with the communication gear, they had found detailed intelligence about Krex military operations throughout the system as their ship flew back toward Freedom Station. Captain Blake contacted them on the radio. Excellent work, team. Jake, your mission was a complete success. What happens now? Now we change everything. Dr. Rodriguez, are you ready to begin waking up the other enhanced humans? I have been studying Jake's condition for the past week. I think I can develop a safe awakening procedure. Back at Freedom Station, the Resistance worked around the clock to set up the stolen communication equipment. Within days, they were sending messages to human colonies across the galaxy. The messages were simple, but important. They told colonial leaders about enhanced humans and offered to help wake them up safely. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Human colonies from 12 different star systems replied to the messages. Most of them had long-term cryosleepers who had never been awakened. Many colonial leaders had been afraid to try, but the promise of safe awakening procedures gave them hope. Dr. Rodriguez worked with Resistance technicians to create detailed medical instructions. They sent these instructions to doctors on human colonies throughout the galaxy. Within 2 weeks, the first enhanced humans were being awakened on distant worlds. The reports that came back were incredible. An enhanced human named Rick Patterson on the Centauri colony had lifted a transport vehicle that was crushing a trapped worker. An enhanced woman named Linda Hayes on the Tau Ceti colony had survived being caught in a mining explosion that should have killed her. But the most important, the report came from New Haven colony. The Krex Dominion had sent a punishment force to the colony after learning about the raid on their supply depot. 50 Krex soldiers had arrived, expecting to find a defenseless human settlement. Instead, they found Jake Morrison waiting for them. The battle was short and decisive. Jake single-handedly defeated the entire Krex force without killing anyone. He destroyed their weapons, disabled their ships, and sent them running back to their base with a message. Humans were not weak anymore. News of the battle spread quickly through both human and alien communication networks. Within days, every major species in the galaxy had heard about the enhanced human who could not be stopped by conventional weapons. Administrator Lisa Carter sent a message to Freedom Station. Jake, the Krex have withdrawn all their forces from human colonies in this system, are telling other species that humans have become too dangerous to threaten. I do not know how to thank you. But the most important message came from the galactic capital world of Nexus, Prime. Admiral Torgan of the Federation Defense Force, one of the most powerful military leaders in the galaxy, had issued an official statement. The Federation Defense Force considers enhanced humans to be a potential threat to galactic stability. Military action may be necessary to contain this threat. 2 weeks after the message from Admiral Torgan, 12 enhanced humans gathered at Freedom Station. They had traveled from colonies across the galaxy to join Jake's mission to Nexus Prime. Each of them had their own story of awakening and discovery. But they all shared the same goal. They wanted to show the galaxy that enhanced humans were not a threat. Jake stood in the command center looking at his new teammates. There was Rick Patterson from Centauri Colony, a former engineer who could lift 20 times his body weight. Linda Hayes from Tau Ceti was a former teacher whose reflexes were so fast she could catch bullets fired at her. David Cooper from the Vega system had survived in the vacuum of space for 10 minutes when his transport ship lost pressure. This is everyone? Jake asked Captain Blake. 12 is all we could gather safely. The other enhanced humans are protecting their home colonies in case the Federation attacks while we are gone. Maria Santos joined them in the command center. Our intelligence says Admiral Torgan has assembled a task force of 300 ships around Nexus Prime. They are expecting us. Good, Jake said. We want them to know we are coming. It's not a sneak attack. This is a diplomatic mission. Dr. Rodriguez looked worried. Jake, are you sure about this? Even with your abilities, 12 people against an entire fleet seems impossible. We are not going there to fight a war, Dr. Rodriguez. We are going there to prevent one. A ship that carried the enhanced humans to Nexus Prime was small and fast. It had no weapons and carried no military equipment. Jake wanted to make it clear that they were coming in peace. As they approached the galactic capital, Jake could see the Federation task force waiting for them. Hundreds of warships filled the space around the planet. Each ship was large enough to destroy a small colony by itself. Incoming transmission, the ship's communication officer announced. Admiral Torgan's face appeared on the main screen. He was a Decanari, one of the largest and strongest species in the galaxy. He stood nearly 9 feet tall and wore heavy armor that covered his rock-like skin. "Enhanced humans, you will surrender immediately or be destroyed," Admiral Torgan said. His voice sounded like stones grinding together. "Admiral, my name is Jake Morrison. We have come to speak with the Galactic Council, not to fight. Council has no interest in speaking with dangerous mutants. You will surrender now." Jake looked at his teammates. They all nodded, showing they were ready for whatever came next. "Admiral, we will land on Nexus Prime and request an audience with the Council. If you try to stop us, you will see exactly what enhanced humans can do." Admiral Torgan's face showed surprise and anger. "You think 12 of you can fight 300 ships? We think 12 of us can walk through 300 ships if we have to." The Admiral cut the transmission. Immediately, the Federation ships began moving into attack formation. Energy weapons powered up and missile launchers prepared to fire. "Enhanced humans to the transport pods," Jake ordered. "Remember, we are not here to destroy anything. We're here to reach the council chambers." The transport pods were small emergency vehicles designed to carry people from a ship to a planet's surface. Jake and his team climbed into the pods and launched toward Nexus Prime. The Federation ships opened fire immediately. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles filled the space around the transport pods. Most of the weapons hit empty space. Several struck the pods directly. Jake felt his pods shake violently as energy beams hit it. The hull began to crack and air started leaking out. Through his pod's window, he could see that the other enhanced humans were having similar problems. "This is not working," Rick Patterson said over the radio. "These pods are going to break apart." Jake made a quick decision. He opened his pod's emergency hatch and stepped out into space. Without a spacesuit, he should have died instantly. Instead, he found that he could survive in the vacuum for a short time. Jake grabbed onto his damaged pod and used it like a shield as he flew toward the planet. Energy beams continued to hit him, but they felt like strong punches rather than deadly weapons. The other enhanced humans followed Jake's example. Soon, all 12 of them were flying through space, using their damaged pods as protection. The Federation ships continued firing. They could not stop the enhanced humans from reaching the planet. Jake crash-landed in the capital city of Nexus Prime. The impact created a small crater in the street, but Jake climbed out unhurt. Around him, the other enhanced humans were landing in similar fashion. The capital city was enormous, with buildings that reached into the clouds. Representatives from hundreds of alien species lived and worked here. Many of them were running in panic as the enhanced humans landed in their streets. "The council chambers are 10 miles from here," Linda Hayes said, checking her navigation device. "Then we walk," Jake replied. The group of enhanced humans began moving through the city toward the government district. Federation security forces tried to stop them at every block. Ground vehicles, armed soldiers, and defensive barriers appeared. In their path, Jake and his team moved through each obstacle like it was made of paper. Energy weapons could not stop them. Physical barriers could not hold them. The security forces found themselves facing opponents who were beyond anything they had trained to fight. As they walked through the city, something unexpected began to happen. Alien civilians started watching from their windows and balconies. Many of them had heard stories about enhanced humans, but they had never seen them before. The aliens watching were not seeing monsters or conquerors. They were seeing a small group of people walking calmly through the city, defending themselves but not attacking innocent bystanders. By the time Jake and his team reached the government district, thousands of alien civilians were following them. They wanted to see what would happen when the enhanced humans met the Galactic Council. The council chambers were inside a massive pyramid-shaped building. Federation soldiers surrounded the building, but they moved aside as the enhanced humans approached. Admiral Torgan was waiting at the main entrance. "You'll go no further," Admiral Torgan said. He drew a weapon that looked like a glowing sword. "I challenge you to single combat, Jake Morrison. If you win, you may speak to the council. If I win, you and your people will surrender. Jake looked at the massive Decanari warrior. Admiral Torgan was one of the strongest beings in the galaxy. He had won hundreds of battles and commanded the respect of every military force in the Federation. I accept your challenge, Jake said. But when I win, the Council will listen to what we have to say. When you lose, enhanced humans will submit to Federation control, Admiral Torgan replied. The two fighters faced each other in the plaza in front of the council chambers. Thousands of aliens watched from the surrounding buildings. Even the council members came out to witness the battle. Admiral Torgan attacked first, swinging his energy sword with incredible speed and power. The weapon could cut through steel, and had killed many enemies in previous battles. Jake dodged the first swing and caught Admiral Torgan's wrist before he could swing again. The Decanari was strong, but Jake was stronger. He twisted the Admiral's arm until the energy sword fell to the ground. Admiral Torgan tried to break free from Jake's grip, but found himself being lifted off the ground. Jake held the 9-foot-tall warrior above his head for several seconds, then gently set him down. I do not want to hurt you, Admiral, Jake said. I just want you to listen. Admiral Torgan stared at Jake in shock. No one had ever defeated him so easily. The crowd of watching aliens was completely silent. How is this possible? Admiral Torgan asked. This is what humans become when we are given the chance to reach our full potential, Jake replied. We are not weak. We never were weak. We were just waiting for the right conditions to evolve. Dr. Amy Rodriguez stepped forward from the crowd. She had arrived on Nexus Prime with detailed scientific data about enhanced humans. Honorable Council. Members, Dr. Rodriguez said, enhanced humans represent a natural evolutionary adaptation to long-term space travel. We are not mutants or weapons. We are what humanity was always meant to become. The lead council member, an ancient alien that looked like a walking tree, spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. Dr. Rodriguez, you claim that enhanced humans are a natural development. Can you prove this? Dr. Rodriguez activated a holographic projector that showed detailed scans of Jake's body and genetic code. The genetic sequences that create enhanced abilities exist in all humans. They are activated by specific environmental conditions, such as extended cryosleep in deep space. She showed more data comparing enhanced humans to normal humans. Enhanced. Humans are not a separate species. They are the next step in human evolution. Given enough time and the right conditions, all humans could develop these abilities. The council members discussed among themselves in several alien languages. Finally, the tree-like leader spoke again. The council recognizes that enhanced humans represent a legitimate evolutionary development. However, we are concerned about the military implications of your abilities. Jake stepped forward. Honorable council members, enhanced humans do not want to conquer or destroy. We want to protect human colonies and ensure that our people are treated fairly in the galaxy.